ninth meeting of the Connecticut Real Estate Appraisal Commission. And happy spring, happy winter, whatever we want to call it. It's here amongst us. Okay. So we had the minutes of previous meeting of March the 12th. Are there any edits, corrections, additions, deletions, anything we need to do to modify the minutes as presented from March 12th, 2025? Hearing none, can I get a motion to accept?
I make a motion, we
I'll make a
accept the
motion.
minutes.
Okay, I heard a John on a motion. A second.
I second.
Second.
Shauna is a second. Ayes,
Aye.
nays, abstentions. Good. So we have the minutes addressed here. Well, every couple years we have the absolute pleasure of having our folks, friendly folks from DC Appraisal Subcommittee or the ASC come and join us. And today is that day. So we're going to open it up in just a moment here to talk to them. And just so everyone knows, there'll be introductions, I would surmise, whatever those folks would like to tell us. And then when we open it up for questions, I'll start with commission members, then staff, and then general public. So everyone will get an opportunity when we're talking here. And not to further ado, welcome. And Debbie, would you like to make the introductions of who is joining us today from the Appraisal Subcommittee?
Sure. Everyone, we are happy to welcome Maria Brown, and is Jonathan. Jonathan's with us. I don't see him on our list here.
He wasn't able to join me this morning. Sorry about that. He's on another compliance review in another state. So
okay, well, we're
scheduled
happy to have you here. So welcome.
Thank
welcome.
You. Good
Welcome,
morning.
Maria.
Good morning.
Would you like to make a presentation or want to say words, or would you prefer to go toward the end of our meeting? Whatever you would like to do, we are more than open.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll keep it brief. Really, I'm here to observe. We are conducting the biannual compliance review for the state of Connecticut later this month on April 22nd. So part of that compliance review is to observe a board meeting. So that's why I'm attending today. I'm really here for questions. If you have any, I'm the program manager now for the state. I know you've worked with many in our office. Many have retired since then. We have quite a few new folks, and your staff has been wonderful. They've been working with me to get all the materials over that we needed prior to the compliance review. So I'm going through those materials, and Debbie, I'll be sending you those lists soon, and setting up a meeting for the opening conference before we arrive on the 22nd of this month. Is there anyone new that isn't aware of the appraisal subcommittee and what our role is?
I believe we are a little different, although Bob Moore, I don't know if he's on, has just joined us, got appointed, thank goodness, last month. I believe, Maria, you were here on the last audit that they came through? Pretty close, right? Maybe not.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, so Maria is new with
Sure.
us here as well, a commission member. Okay.
Well, sure, and I'd be happy to go over. So the appraisal subcommittee, it's a federal agency, and we were created under Title 11 of the Financial Institutions Reform, Recovery, and Enforcement Act of 1989 to provide federal oversight of state appraiser and appraisal management company regulatory programs. It also set up the monitoring framework for the subcommittee to monitor the Appraisal Foundation. The Appraisal Foundation includes two boards that set the standards and the criteria for real estate appraisers, and we monitor those functions of those boards. The Appraisal Subcommittee has currently 17 staff members, and we're a 7-member board. So the board is made up of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, of FDIC, OCC, the National Credit Union Administration, the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection, of FHFA, and of HUD. And what Title 11 requires the ASC to do is not only to monitor states' regulation of appraisers and AMCs, to monitor the Appraisal Foundation, award grants to states and the Appraisal Foundation, to develop and maintain a referral hotline, and to maintain the National Registry of Appraisers and Appraisal Management Companies. So what we do it's typically every 2 years that we come into a state and we conduct a compliance review, a full compliance review. That wasn't the case during the pandemic. We created what we called the state offsite assessment, and really it was just we reviewed documents that we could virtually, and then gave some feedback to the states, and the states used that feedback as a tool for the next compliance review to address some issues that a state may have been facing. So this is a full compliance review. There are 2 of us that will be on site later this month. Like I said, on April 22nd is when we arrive. And of the documents that have already been sent over, we do some preliminary work and we review those documents. And from those documents, we select specific files to review while on site. We review those files, ask questions, get those questions if we need anything clarified while we're there. It's a good time to be able to talk to staff and clear up any questions that we may have. And then we hold a closing meeting and go back to our offices and draft a preliminary report. The preliminary report goes out to the state. It's not a public record. The state has 60 days to respond to that preliminary report. It's not a requirement, but it's encouraged. And we take that preliminary and then the state's response, and from that, we draft the final report. And then that's what's a public record, and that's where the ratings come from for a state. And the rating determines how often we're back in the state. So if a state requires a follow-up or requires us to be back in the state sooner than 2 years, then it may be on a 1-year cycle. But Connecticut has been great and on a 2-year, and I anticipate that that'll be the case moving forward.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you mind taking some questions at this point? If
Not
there
at
are
all.
any out there.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I'll start it off here. And what is the hot button out there as you're seeing coast to coast, border to border, that seems to pop up every few years? There's an issue or issues or something of concern. What is the current issue, if any?
That's a great question. There's been a lot of staff turnover within the states, and so really it's just an understanding of the role and what Title 11 is, what the policy statements are, and what that means to a program. So it's really educating new staff members and new board members throughout the United States. We've seen quite a bit. We are also seeing appraisal management companies. There's been discrepancies on the list of registered AMCs that we're receiving from the states versus the actual registry. So we actually compare the two. And you're welcome, before we arrive on site, that's exactly what we'll be doing. You can take your list and what's on the registry, you can turn it into an Excel spreadsheet and just verify that you don't have an AMC in the state that is listed as registered on your list, but inactive on the registry, or vice versa. We've seen some misspelled names. Some of those things are just typos, and those get cleaned up. As far as the real estate appraiser programs, enforcement, we're seeing quite a few enforcement cases. Really, it's the tips that states are receiving that have created an uptick in enforcement and complaints.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn to members of the commission. Any questions we can call you Maria or Ms.
Yes.
Brown? How would you? Maria? Okay.
Maria, yes.
Thank you.
Oh, and I can give you a little bit about a history from myself. I come from the state, so I worked with a board. I was the executive director in Idaho, and I was over 4 professions, and one of them happened to be the real estate appraiser board, and that was an umbrella agency. And then I went to work for Oregon with another profession that was an autonomous board. So I do understand the makeup uh, of the states and the programs and some of the challenges or opportunities that each state faces.
Would it be hot? How happened? It's 5:40 in the morning for you now there?
It's 6:40.
6:40. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm in Idaho. I'm actually in Idaho. I worked in Oregon for several years, and but I'm
Okay.
from Idaho, so I'm back in Idaho.
Very good.
Uh,
Thank you.
I have,
Members of the commission,
I have a
questions?
question, Jerry.
Yes, please.
It's Bob. Since appraiser bias is such a hot topic these days, and we're now including a 7-hour course related to that for license renewal, what are you seeing around that topic now?
The only thing that we're really seeing is that states still are moving forward in their proposed regulation and statute changes to include that course, just because it was adopted by the appraiser qualifications board. It is part of the criteria now, so it is required moving forward, and it will go into effect. So states are moving in that direction. As far as the PAVE task force, that stopped. But states are we are still seeing enforcement cases on bias. So when we are in the states, we are seeing some of those complaints. They are still coming in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other commissioners with a question? Staff? No? Anyone staff? No? Okay. General public. Anybody would like to ask a question? Well, it is quiet. It is early in the morning. So what we will do is we'll come back and before we end today's meeting, we'll have everyone have one last shot. Okay. Not that poor Maria, but she's here. If you think, oh, I wish I would have asked this, or now I think about that, or what have you. We only get this opportunity every couple years, knock on wood. We don't want, no offense to you, Maria. We don't want to see you next year. Okay. Meaning that you have to come back every year, so to speak here. So we hope it's every other year, and we take it from there. Well, welcome here, and thank you for getting up and joining us this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Old business. I don't see anything on the agenda here, so we're going to move right over to new business. And Joseph Salvetti at RSP 2067 requests extension to his RSP license. Is Mr. Salvetti here with us this morning? I do see you. Thank you for coming up on the camera. You are on mute. Okay, you're off mute. For the record, if you could please give your name and spelling of your last name and your business address.
Joseph Salvati, last name Salvati. I resided and the business is at 65 General Dalton Drive, Naugatuck, Connecticut.
Thank you. And my apologies for mispronouncing your last name.
It's quite all right, sir.
The floor is yours. Debbie, excuse me. So it just says request an extension. Am I correct? Is that a fair representation, what it says here?
Correct. Yeah. His 6th year will be concluding on July 29th. His first issue was July 29th, 2019.
Okay, so July 29th at 2025, the 6-year window
Correct.
is to expire. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, the floor is yours.
Jerry, before you can, do you want me to?
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to put him under oath, or are you going to? Do you want me to put him under oath?
If you would like to. Okay.
Hi. Sorry, just ask if you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. Okay.
Again, I am Joe Salvati, provisional appraiser. I have been doing appraisals and doing this for the last 5 years, 6 years, I have done okay. I've done over 700 appraisals. My appraisal management company, the software has a running count, and I just noticed it's in the 700s. Time just flies, and it's amazing how many appraisals and I've worked on. I need a little bit more time. My continuing education, I'm a little bit older. I'm 67. When I went to Providence College, I was a little bit sharper, I have to say. Studying, retaining things, for test taking is a little bit more challenging for me. So I needed a little bit more time to study, for my continuing education classes that I'm still working on. And I'd like to have to finish that, the continuing education courses. I have submitted the my experience log. That was a question that came up the last time I contributed to the meeting a few months ago, and I did submit a completed experience log. So that was submitted, I guess, past a deadline, so it will be brought to your attention, I assume, the next meeting. I was told it didn't make the cutoff point for this meeting, but I just wanted to let everybody know that my experience log is completed and it has been submitted to your agency. Other than that, life has gotten in my way. I'm older there. I have a lot of friends that are a little bit older than me. I've been helping out health wise, work wise, and I'm the only person working in my household with my wife. My wife is retired. Uh, so it's just basically me, and I'm doing 2 or 3 different jobs besides the appraisal, which has been a bit quiet last 6 to 8 months. I just one reason I noticed this, especially when I was doing my taxes, how the money earned the last couple of quarters was significantly lower than previous years. Hopefully the economy and the market gets a little bit on an upturn. Other than that, I don't have any real excuses. Other than I'm a generous person personally with people around me. I have a lot of older friends. That's the other thing. And I find myself I've been taking care of a couple of people that one of my friends was taking care of his wife who was sick. Now he's sick too. He had to go in for surgery. So I ended up staying and living with them for a couple of weeks while he was on the mend from his surgery and so forth. And it's just that type of thing. Life gets in the way, and I'm moving in about 3 different directions besides appraisals. Not I've substitute taught. I've in the school systems, and I'm still active doing that. I'm a musician. I actually play out quite a bit at not lounges, but restaurants, dinner music, that type of thing. And so I'm a busy guy, I guess, but I'm trying to fit everything in, and I'd love to get this completed because I was really looking forward to becoming, get my certification. So,
Sir, have you finished all your courses, or are you still need courses to be taken?
yes.
You have finished them, or you need you need courses to
I still
complete?
need some courses to complete, and that's one of the reasons why. Also, when I do figure out when I'm going to take the test, I definitely am going to need some prep time, some aid with that, studying and prepping for that. So I'm just figuring a little extra time. I really hate to be under the gun here, you know?
Is it one course you need to do, two courses? How many courses do you need to fulfill
I think
the?
I have about 3 left. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm sorry to say that, but you know,
okay, it is what it is.
I they're ready to go, and I've been doing the McKissick online. I've used them. I've been fairly successful, you know, using them, and I'm pretty happy with their what they provide, and it's convenient for me. God bless you. Anyway,
Sorry, thank you. I thought I had it on mute. I apologize.
but yeah,
Okay.
I McKissick, and I paid for the software. I have it ready to rock, and I just have to find the extra time. And like I said, life's been busy, and
How long of an extension are you requesting?
I would say minimum of 3 months.
Okay. I open it up to questions to other members of the commission, if I may, please.
Sure.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
good morning, Mr. Salvati.
Good morning.
Your sponsor, is he here today with you?
My sponsor is my supervisor, William DeTulio. He is not with me. No.
Have you worked out a game plan with him?
He's been very helpful. That's one other thing. I don't want to discuss anybody's personal business besides mine, but he has had some health issues that he's had to take care of, and that started last September, October, and he had a pretty good health scare. I'll put it that way. Okay, you could probably figure it out if you put 2 and 2 together. He had multiple hospital treatments, visits, the effect of everything, and he's recovering very well now. But he has had some health issues, unfortunately, but up to then he's been just an incredible person, and he's been very helpful, and he's been right on the spot and is advising me, giving me a little bit of pep talk and all the other things that probably a good supervisor should do.
Thank you.
And he's a musician also, and I've known him since high school, believe it or not. And it's just so funny how things go around and come back, and he ends up being my supervisor, and he's been great.
Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Other questions? Sean, I see your hand up. The floor is yours.
So good morning.
Morning.
How often do you take a class? And when was your last class that you had taken?
The one I am working on and almost ready to complete is the comparative values for choosing comparables for a report.
So that's current.
Yes.
And when was the last class you took? About how long ago?
About a month ago.
And you're only looking for 3 months of extension.
Well, if that's, I would like to try to do it, because you have to figure I have till July now, and adding another 3 months to July. Is that how it works? I would be getting an additional 3 months from that, what, July 19th date, I believe.
Yeah, that's what you're requesting. Yes.
Yes, that is. I just wanted to clarify it. Yeah.
I have no more questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Other
Jerry, I got a
questions from
question.
members of the commission? John?
Hi, Mr. Savati, how are you? So you're going to be submitting your log in May. You've already submitted it to the state, to Debbie, and she's going to be posting it up. You got it, Debbie, already?
Yes, I got it, I think 2 days ago. So I didn't review it yet. I didn't,
Okay.
check to make sure if his qualifying education was done. We've been focusing on the audit. But he did submit it 2 days ago, I believe.
So
Yeah. Sorry.
that's okay. So if he submits it in May, and then we select the reports, it'll be June, and we can review those reports in June. I'm a little reluctant to jump the gun here and give an extension yet. I think my suggestion is just to wait till we get the log and we actually review his work, and then we can make a determination on the extension. Would your supervisor be able to be here for the May meeting and the June meeting?
I could make that happen, I believe, sir.
He's healthy enough? He's
Yes.
back on. So both of you are actively working right now? I mean, I know things have slowed down, but there's still some work coming in?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay. And he's still reviewing all your work, obviously.
He signs off on everything, and I'm at the point now where I'm fairly much self-sufficient in any standard 1004 type of report that comes in, single family, that type of thing. And he has exposed me to other ones. Obviously, I don't have the authority to sign off on a multifamily, but I have gone on inspections with him, and I've been exposed to other things other than just 1073s and 1004s, those type of reports.
All right. So you said you had 3 classes left. You're taking one now that you're almost done online, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So that'll be done, and you'll just have 2 more to go.
3 more to go, I believe. Yeah,
there 3 more one after that.
Yeah.
So what are those 3 you still have to take?
Geez, I haven't looked at them yet in a while. I don't want to say exactly what they are right now, but they were chosen out of the grouping for the. Yeah.
All right. I have no more questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions from members of the commission? Seeing or hearing none, anything from staff that we should take into consideration that you would like to put before us on this matter?
On this matter, I would just like to say remind everyone that the June meeting is an in-person meeting. So I don't know if, given the health concerns of your supervisor, if that would, be a deterrent to come in June. Perhaps May or July would be a better choice, but I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I jump in here real quick?
Please.
If we've done this periodically, but if we get his log over the next week or so, if Debbie approves it and it's okay, a couple weeks, can we pick samples from that then, and then he come in that way for the May meeting? His supervisor can be online.
John, as we have Maria Brown from the ASC and folks coming in toward the end of this month here, would they say the 22nd and so forth, I'm wondering with those requirements, time and so forth, if there will be enough time really to properly do this. I think we should follow the process and procedure, with that in mind. Do you hear where I'm coming from? Yeah, okay. Great. Any other questions by members of the commission? Staff? Okay, floor is open. What do we want to do? And some of commission members are on mute, just to let you know. Okay, I see Maria, you're on mute. John, you're on mute. Shauna on mute. You know, Norris, I guess I'm the only one not on mute. So, and Bob. So go ahead. Any how we want to move forward with what's before us.
Personally, I'm a little reluctant to give an extension right now, Mr. Savato. I don't, I mean, we can always vote an extension next month, but I'd like to see your log submitted, us review the log, pick samples, and see samples. In the meantime, my suggestion is to keep taking classes, because it is possible you could have your classes done by July, and then if they're available, and then we can always give you an extension. I know none of us like waiting that close, so that's just me right now. So I'm reluctant to make a motion at this point till we see, if he was further down the line or there was another health issue or something, that's one thing, but it's still got a ways to go.
Okay. Any other thoughts from members of the commission? We agreement with Commissioner Galvin's, point of view.
Yeah,
I guess
tend to
I would
think-
say the same. I would like to just see his log and to get an idea before we. I mean, he's looking only for 3 months, but it would be nice to see the log to see how much he has done and how often.
Okay.
May-
Bob,
may
you
I-
were saying you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think what John proposed makes sense, and there still is a fair amount of time until the July deadline, and be nice to get a look at that log.
Okay. Sir, you're going to be on the next month's agenda because of your law coming through and how the normal process works. Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay, so at that point in time, let's take a look at the log. We'll readdress it at that point in time. We do thank you for coming before us in April instead of waiting for June or July even, which we have dealt with
Yeah.
over the years of people trying to be proactive. So we do tip of the hat to you for that. And we thank you for coming before us today.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay.
You're all set with me, I presume?
Yes,
Okay, I'm going to sign off then here.
very good. Have a good day.
You too,
Take
sir.
care.
Goodbye. Thank you, everybody.
Next on the agenda for new business is Roxanne Belter Lee, RSP 2095, Experience Log Review and Sample Selection.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Could you please give your name, spelling of your last name, and your address of employment, please, for the record?
Sure. Roxanne Belter Lee, last name Lee, Lee, working with Ansaldo Appraisal Services, 754 7 Ave in West Haven, Connecticut.
Thank you and good morning and welcome.
Thank you.
Folks, we received these. Debbie had forwarded these to us. Well, listen, I printed them out last week, so could have been some time here and going through, the log and so forth. Debbie, would you like to give a quick overview of anything that we should be aware of with a log or anything else before us on this?
Well, the log, I did send a revised log, I believe, last week.
Yeah.
Right, because the first one was missing the headers, but all of the hours are added up. The addition has been verified before I sent it to you. So that was the only change in the revision, was the addition of the headers.
Very good. Thank you. Members of the commission, any assignments that you would like for Ms. Lee to submit to us here?
Well, can we prove the log first, Jerry?
Feel free, John.
Yeah, because I got a couple, hi, Ms. Melter, I have a couple questions
Hi.
on your log.
Sure.
So originally your log came through with without any headers, and then you corrected that. Thank you. So I'm just going to the last page of your log.
Sure.
And so in reading where it says description of work performed, that's your work that you're talking about you did, correct?
Yes.
Yep. And it says, so for instance, under the, well, we'll just go to the very last one, 89 Cream Hill, Cornwall, which is a
Yes.
beautiful town. It says assisted inspectant. So both of you go on all the inspections?
Right now, Joanne goes on inspections with me that are determined by the lender or the client, meaning if it's something of high value, complex, something not within my comfort area of where my coverage is, then she goes with me. If it's something such as Solidify, where I'm allowed to go on my own, then Joanne has instructed me to do so. But yes, the majority of the time she attends.
Okay, and so when you
John, excuse me, let me interrupt, and it's my bad. No one else's, Miss Lee. Miss Lee, is your sponsor or supervisor with us this morning?
Yes, she is. Joanne is on.
Okay. Hello.
Good morning.
Could you give just your name, spelling of your last name, business address, and my apologies. Okay, I did not.
No worries.
That's my error. Okay, please, for the record.
Joanne Ansaldo, ANSALDO, and I own Ansaldo Appraisal Services at 754 Savin Avenue, West Haven.
Thank you very much. John,
You're welcome.
the floor is yours. Sorry.
Okay, so it's the next part of that. It says verification, comma, comparable photos. So you're going out in this particular assignment, you verified all the comps, took photos and
Yes.
inspected all the comps,
Yes.
etc. And then typing in the report. When you say typing in the report, are you actually doing the analysis, the valuation analysis too, and all the adjustments and everything, or are you just typing the report? I want to clarify that because
Sure. So in most of them, I'm typing the report. I'm going through and doing the nitty gritty of the typing, and then Joanne and I go through the adjustments together so that I learn and gain the experience of how exactly it should be done, to understand the best way to do it, to make sure that I'm not giving something an appropriate condition marking. That's done really together, but the rest of the typing I do, and then she reviews.
so you're doing all the analysis. You do all the adjustments first by yourself before she reviews it.
Yes.
You come to a value conclusion yourself.
Yes.
Okay, so on the one before it, where it's 23 New Preston Hill Road, New Preston, it says assisted in the inspection and sketch comparables. So you didn't do the analysis on that one.
No, I did not.
So it took you 4 hours to do that, and it took you 4 hours to do the complete report. Because the reason why I'm asking is if you go up to, for instance, you have the reports for Plymouth, 24 West Park Road, Plymouth, and 44 Colony Road, Plymouth. You have
Yes.
10 hours each on those, and it's the same work as the last one. Is there just a reason why there's a difference?
There is a reason. Thank you for bringing that up. Sometimes it's just the proximity of where it is and trying to find the comparable sales. So because there are no cookie cutters in this area, a lot of times I'm having to drive into neighboring towns to look at comps. Sometimes we're looking at the comps after we've taken the photos of the actual subject and realizing different comps are necessary. So for example, the ones in Plymouth, Plymouth is quite far away from where we are. By the time we get out there, do all of the, the comps, do all the research, it takes much longer. Cornwall is maybe 10
Further.
minutes from me. No, Cornwall is right next to me.
Where
So
you
being
live, you
able,
mean?
yes, correct.
Oh, okay.
So being able to get to Cornwall and to do the same amount of work, it really is about, also, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm assuming that those comps must have been a little bit easier to find and to locate with being in the surrounding towns that I'm in. Really, it's a proximity issue.
Okay. I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from
So I'll
members
go
of the commission?
next.
Please.
Oh, go ahead, Bob. Go ahead, you go.
Oh, well, I just had sort of a related question to John's. I noticed different amounts of hours for basically the same task, or what's listed as the same task anyway. For example, assisted in taking photos and sketch. I noticed that you have down anywhere from 2 up to 5 hours for that same task. Just wondering if you can sort of explain that difference.
Sure. Do you have an example specifically? Otherwise, I think of it. Okay.
I
So
didn't write down.
yeah, no, that's fine. So for example, sometimes it really just is about the proximity. So I know that the casework seems like it's the same, but a lot of the issues in Litchfield County is that they're so spread out in the towns that you're not just searching in Cornwall for Cornwall. You maybe are searching in Cornwall and Kent and perhaps in Washington. So you're going to a lot of different towns to get these things done. Also, a lot of times the research that's going into the comps is taking longer because of the complexity of the actual subject or what's available. We just don't have a lot of inventory here, which sometimes makes it a true challenge to be able to find things. And it's perhaps me taking more time than I need to sometimes. That could be understood, that it's important to make sure that they're the right comps and that you're not going through everything just to realize that you find yourself in a bad position that's not going to be credible. So it might be taking time to do the work as most properly and accurately as I can.
And just one more question. How is it working for you being up in Cornwall, your territory, mainly around that area, but having a supervisor all the way down in West Haven?
So it's actually worked pretty well for the last, I'd say, but we're at 4.5 years almost now, almost 5 years. Some of these I am able to go and do on my own. Some of them we have to schedule when we're both available to get to the location. But honestly, thank you to COVID, we've now gotten to a point where we can be so remote. There are so many tools that we can use when it comes to reviewing things, whether it be FaceTime or Zoom or just the emails back and forth. It's made it a lot easier than it maybe would have been prior to COVID and how our culture has changed with technology.
Okay.
Very good. Shauna, you had a question?
Yeah, I did. I am a little confused because you say product is photos and you say you're taking the photos, but then you say you did required field work. And then, some of these say you are AR, you did the form, I'm taking it. I mean, what ones did you do most of the work? Is that, I don't know how to take that.
Okay, that's a fair question. Thank you for bringing that up. So based on either the description or the hours, I would presume that would try to give you an idea of which ones I actually did. I do not have written down on here or asterisked anywhere exactly which ones that I completed fully on my own. I do apologize for that if that was something that would have been easier for you to review. I can go back and take a look at those items. Did you have a question about a specific?
No, I'm just looking at your in general. I mean, I'm trying to understand what you did, and these descriptions are pretty generic, used multiple times with different products. And I also didn't see any multifamilies. I saw that was another question I had. Did you do any multifamilies?
I have not.
There is no multifamilies in Litchfield County.
Yeah,
Very few.
Part of this process, we have to understand that she can do those. So, for her, she's going to actually going to have to do a multifamily, even if it's not for a client, but for somebody that she knows, even if something you have.
We just haven't had the opportunity out there, Shauna. There's limited.
She can do. Well, if you're in West Haven, you can certainly find somebody that she could do an appraisal for. It doesn't have to be for a bank.
Yeah. I am training her in Litchfield County because that is just a whole different breed when it comes to the state of Connecticut. It's the complexity of the assignments. And I just, at some point, we will get there.
I can't hear you, Joanne. Can you guys hear her?
You can't hear me?
Yes, very well.
I can hear Joanne.
I can't.
Okay. The complex, can you hear me?
Yes, Joanne.
Yes, I'm sorry. The complexity of the assignments in Litchfield, it's every assignment is complex. And right now, there are really no multifamilies out there. And I don't want to throw something else at her as I'm trying to move her along in like estate properties, higher value homes. So right now, I mean, there really wouldn't be a need for her to learn to do a multifamily because she's not going to go out of Litchfield County. There is really a priority on complex assignments, multi-million-dollar homes, And I'm trying to get her prepared for that. As Debbie knows, I'm getting ready to retire. So I'm trying to put her in a position to stay in Litchfield County, and, you know, have her well-versed there. But like I said, multifamilies, they're very far and few between out there. And just
So
on the work log, I just wanted to mention something. So some of the hours that you see that she's only assisted me in the sketch and the photos, that was probably a multi-million-dollar property complex. And I wanted her to learn how to measure and do the sketches on those properties, because that could be very time consuming, and making sure everything is consistent and we have the correct photos and it's consistent with the sketch that we have and the number of rooms, bathrooms, and bedrooms. So some of the stuff that you may see that just has photos and sketch, and maybe it took a little longer, is probably you know, a high-end home complex, estate house, multi buildings on the property.
So, Joanne, real quick, one, appraisers aren't allowed to retire, so.
I'm trying. I really am. You see me pushing all these provisionals through? Let's get them out.
So I understand about Litchfield County because that's my turf. That's what I do. But we
Yeah.
do have Torrington, we do have Winstead, which have a lot of multifamilies in it. We have
You're
Watertown
exactly right.
and Thomaston, et cetera, which also have a lot of multifamilies in it. And I think what Shauna was getting to, which I agree with, is that once we give her, approve this, and she goes and gives her samples, if we approve her samples, she's going to be eligible to do multifamilies once she gets her certificate, her license. So we need to see that she can do that. So I get it.
John, I'm going to interrupt here. What we have before us is only on the log, not on
Right.
experience right now.
Right. No.
On the
I
agenda.
I hear what you're saying, Jerry. I just want to finish. So how much time does she still, Ms. Pelter, how much time do you still have left on your 6 years? Are you getting close to the 6-year window?
No, the first appraisal I ever did was on September 14th, 2020.
Okay. Is it possible, Joanne, that she could actually do maybe, even, is there any land on here? I don't see anything that's, there's a couple of land pieces, but maybe a multifamily, at least one or so,
So
in the next
I mean,
month or
we could, but I can't, there's no way to determine if I would get one out there, if you could understand that. I don't know. I mean, things are so slow right now. I wouldn't be able to determine it, that if I could get her one. And, she really is mainly, like I said, in Litchfield County. And we just really haven't had a lot of multifamilies orders out there. As you can see in the log, that's like a perfect example. We're just not getting them.
So are you doing work all over the state or just focusing on yourself, just focusing on Litchfield County?
Myself?
Yeah.
Joanne? So presently I am going back and forth from Connecticut to Florida. So what I do is, Avello is like taking a bus now. So I continually go back and forth. So my main area was Litchfield County. And like I said, I'm ready to turn that over to Roxanne while still supervising her along the way. And I'm looking to step out, but my expertise is mostly in Litchfield, New Haven, and Fairfield County.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask a quick question?
Please.
How many multifamilies would you like to see to make you feel more comfortable?
At least one.
One? Okay.
Well, we would definitely have to see
Just-
one, right?
Yeah, just to see one, just to, so we can ask questions about it, just to, when you submit your work, so that we can understand that you understand the appraisal process, you understand the theory and how to do that, you understand how to make the adjustments, you understand, to make adjustments between, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom units, et cetera, et cetera. So, and understand, the income approach on a multifamily too. You're gonna get tested on it.
Right.
I do have a question. So
Excuse me. Sorry, Shauna, can you put your computer on mute, please?
Yeah.
Because we're getting feedback from your
Yep,
telephone.
I did.
Perfect,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Torrington has multifamilies, and I'm looking at your log, and 502 Main Street, Torrington, is a multifamily. So,
Could you tell
why
me
was
which
that not
quarter? I'm
quarter
sorry, could
3 of 2023?
you 10. Quarter 3, Torrington.
July 5th.
No. Okay. So that was a typo then in the log where it should have said multifamily. Is that what you're stating?
You say you didn't do any, so I'm just trying to understand.
So I did not complete that job. That was another example of where I was only doing the photos in the sketch. So,
Yeah. Well, it
I
says
bet
inspection too, right?
I
Expectancy.
yes, I assisted in the inspection. I was there, worked on the photos, worked on the sketch, but I did not type this report.
And when you say type 2, I think John kind of asked, when you say type, does that mean you're analyzing or you're just entering information? How am I going to know the difference? Is some of them you just type or?
No, so if I'm typing the report, I'm putting it in, going through the analysis, and then reviewing it with Joanne. If it does not stipulate here at all any typing of the report, that means that I simply went with Joanne, took photos, observed the inspection, did that with her, and then did the sketch, which, like she said, can be time consuming and was learning with that. But I did not type anything physically in the report for this one. So a better clarification question then is, it's not just about the experience of the inspection of the multifamily. John, you're stating that you would like to see me of actually typing one, doing the analysis, correct?
Yeah. So
Okay.
first, I want to commend you guys for teaching her how to measure a house and do that, because I know
Oh.
there's some complicated stuff up there, and I think that's
Yeah,
good.
it's a pain.
Yeah. So I'm leaning right now towards approving the log. And we can do some sample selections right now, and in the essence, and then also, if it's possible, that you could do a multifamily between now and the next meeting, and then submit that also, if you can, so that we could see that experience.
Okay.
That's where I'm leaning right now.
I think the
That
log
I'm just discussion.
there for me.
Shauna,
Yeah.
anybody else?
I was saying I think the log needs to be cleared up more for me so I can understand it better.
If I cleared
We
up,
did
do
put-
you? Go ahead.
Sorry.
Could
At
you
the
just give
bottom
me-
of the at the bottom of the log, we did put a note at the end of the log for clarification of anywhere where it says that she typed the report. It just because of the space constraints, otherwise we would have had 100 pages. But we put a little note at the very last page on the log, what she did for each of the ones that say assisted in inspection, writing of a report. There's a little statement at the end of the log, just to clarify it.
Jerry, can I make a motion, or are we?
Please.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion that we accept the log. It, as explained, it explains that when she types a report that she did the analysis. So I make a motion that we accept the log as is.
Do we have a second on the motion on the floor? Norris is second. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, a vote. Ayes,
Aye.
nays,
I'm an A.
abstentions. So it does pass with one nay. Okay, and for the record, that'd be Commissioner Barron. Okay. So now the next thing is selection of samples to come before us. And we've been hearing enough in the last 15 minutes here for Ms. Lee's thing to at least we're going to want to see a two-family or let me put this, multifamily, 2, 3, or 4 family
Excuse me,
experience.
Mr.
But
Chairman.
yes, sir,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Can I ask you a question? Can she
certainly.
just take the one in Can she just take the one in Torrington and do it herself? That multifamily?
Anything it can be whatever comes before us. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All
it
right.
doesn't, as Norris just mentioned, it doesn't, Ms. Pelter, doesn't have to be one you did for a bank. You can actually do a multifamily and address it to us as the
Yeah.
client so that we can
Oh,
review it, okay?
Yeah, that's
okay,
I
fine.
can,
perfect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
I
don't
can
have to.
certainly get that done then. Okay.
So.
And if I may
uh,
suggest, if you're going to do that, let's do 2 of them. Okay. So at
Sure.
least
Okay.
there's, to help out, we're trying to help you out here. Okay.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate that.
So-
We need some samples to be selected here from the
I
current
did give
log.
Debbie some samples.
Correct. I do have a list of samples that Shauna provided. Roxanne, are you ready?
Yes.
24 West Park Road in Plymouth. I'll also send you an email with these, but just for the record.
Okay.
173 Greenwoods Road, West Norfolk. 30 Sharon Road, Apartment 8, Waterbury. And 104 Sharon Valley Road in Sharon.
Yep.
And I'll send these over to you and Joanne.
Can I also make a suggestion? Ms. Butler, if you want to submit what you think is your best work out of all this, and 2, if there's one that has a cost approach in it that
Yep.
you did, that you could send us to. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Plus the 2 multifamilies.
Yes.
Yes. We thank you for your time, both of you and Joanne, coming on here. I will echo this. It does give me a degree of comfort to hear that someone goes out and measures buildings. Okay. I thought that was a long gone art, as time goes by, but we appreciate that. Do you have any questions for us, Ms. Lee?
No.
I do not.
Okay. We thank you for your time and look forward to, on the next agenda when everything is done here. Okay.
Great. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
everyone.
Take care.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Next on the new business is Tom Donato, RCR 646, request 11-hour equivalent CE for completing the fundamentals of mass appraisal. Is Tom on here? I'm looking here. Is he here with us this morning?
No.
He's the assessor in Bristol, Connecticut.
Yes, I don't see it as well, but anyway here. Debbie, could you give us an overview of the request or anything we should be aware of?
Well, I did send you the materials that Mr. Donato provided, and he completed fundamentals of mass appraisal course for which he requests 11 hours of equivalent CE.
Help me out, Debbie. How long is the course material that he presented? Was it a total 11 hours of an 11-hour course, or was it 11 hours of 18 or?
It looked like it was 33 hours.
It was a 33-hour class, and I
Yeah.
went through it. And I don't have any problem with the 11 hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
it looked like 11 at a minimum would be okay.
Okay. Does
Okay,
anyone want to make a
real-
motion?
Well, I'm aware.
Real
of this
quick
class
though,
as
hey guys, can I ask one quick question? Should we give him more? I'm just wondering.
well. He
You
can
guys
only
said
have
this is a
11.
great course.
You can only go
Okay.
11 on the elective,
Okay, I didn't
Norris,
know.
now
I
with
didn't
all the
know.
requirements. Okay,
Okay, I didn't know. I just wanted to be sure. All right.
certainly.
If Sean is okay with it, I make a motion that we approve this for 11 hours.
I second.
Okay.
Okay, Bob, we got a second discussion?
No, This
Hearing
is a good
none.
course. No problem.
Ayes,
Aye.
Aye.
nays, abstentions, then we're in good shape. Mr. Donato gets 11 hours for his CE. Okay, very good. That's new business. Legal. Vicky, the floor is yours. You're on mute.
Hi, good morning. I was on mute. I apologize. Good morning to everyone. A lot of activity today. No real update other than the legislation is still currently under review. And, most of the time has been spent on preparing for the audit, but that's pretty much it in terms of where we are.
Very good. Any
All right.
questions for Vicky? Hearing none, she's happier now. She was, even more smiling. Okay, no more questions, and we can move forward. That's great. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have new courses before us here, and we see everything there. Are there any questions that any members of the commission want to bring up, or anything from staff that would like to draw our attention to?
So I went through the classes and I have a concern with one. Well, first of all, let me back up. This is an easy one. Detecting going concern and business value. That was just 4 hours. That's all they're requesting. Is that right?
Yes, let me just verify.
Where's that, John, on the agenda, please?
It's 1403 on the last page, on page 4.
1403.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's 4 hours. Okay. I'm okay with that. But this one class, I kind of I don't get it. I'm a little confused on it. That's AAL 1391. Big data, big trouble. Did anybody else look at this class? Because I'm
Was that
looking
from
at it.
Green
and
Mountain Lending, John?
Yeah,
I
I'm
looked
trying
at
to
it. I
figure
thought
out.
it was okay.
You thought it was okay, Shauna?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how that really, it didn't seem like it was all had to do with actually appraisal.
Yeah, it was a little sketchy, and I also think they never included anything about artificial intelligence, which is certainly going to change everything now.
Okay.
Did we get the slides? We got all the slides because it in the first sheet they submitted, Deb. It says big data, big trouble, square footage, public records, and big data miss.
They submitted 6 items. Do you
Yeah.
have 6 items there?
Yes.
Okay, that's what they submitted.
Anybody else look at this class?
I did not, John.
Yeah, I did.
Shauna?
I thought I did look at it. I'm looking at it again.
Yeah, it's sort of on the fringe related. Might be useful.
You want to table it for next month?
Well, the only reason why I'm reluctant on table and stuff is, we're entering this education cycle, and I think a lot of people are going to be taking classes over the summer, and especially with things slowing down. So I'd rather not. I just want to make sure you guys are okay with it because it's more residential oriented than commercial oriented.
John, what's the issue? What bothers you about it?
Just that it seemed to be just kind of vague in a lot of ways. Parts of it, not all of it, but
Okay.
Well, would you want to give it less hours? Give it 2 or
no,
3?
no. I just wanted to make sure I was not missing something, or I saw something that. So if you guys are
Well, I
okay with
agree
it,
that it's like Bob said, it's, on the borderline there.
all right.
There's one other course I just want to draw everyone's attention to, 1386, the second one on the, if you printed it out on the second page from the Appraisal Institute, the fundamentals of separating real property. Folks, it's on again, off again, on again, off again. I think now this is a third time. It may be the fourth time that this class is being brought back to life. It is a 2-hour course. It is full of octane. And there are a number of, and have been in the past, controversial positions that have been put forth for those who do that type of work. And I've gone through that stem to stern, and just to make everyone aware, we're more than fine now with that. But this has been going on for a dozen years. It's on, off. Now we're going to be back on. For those who may have taken, this used to be the old class 803 back in the day, so it's had quite a shelf life. So if for those who've gone through it, it's pretty intense.
Isn't it 2 days, not 2 hours, Jerry?
Yeah, it's 14 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay with that one.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Do we
so
have a motion to accept as presented?
I make a motion to accept as presented.
Okay. A
I'll
second?
second. I'll second.
Shauna has a second. Discussion? Hearing none. Ayes?
Aye.
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 Nays? Abstentions? Okay. Well, we're going to be, what goes around comes around, and we had Maria Brown with us here to begin with. Is there any other closing thoughts, Maria, you would like to say to us, or are there any questions while she is with us? She got up early this morning to listen to this, and we want to have an opportunity from. I'll start with the commission. Any questions? Staff?
I just want to, this may.
Yes, go ahead.
I know everybody wants to go, but one quick question. Want to know how many people have become through that what's it, pure, how do you say it again?
Korea.
Korea. Yeah. All over the country. Have you seen an uptick in new people taking that course?
We have heard of some. We've heard of some in the Mississippi program, and then Louisiana, and now with the Appraisal Institute, we are hearing about those that are going through the program, not those that have yet to take the exam, the national exam, but the course that was created in Mississippi was more of a practicum course that was similar to a PREA program. And those individuals, the majority of them, successfully completed the national exam the first time around. So we anticipate that that'll be the case with these new candidates that are going through the PREA program in various states, but we're just on the beginning stages to see what those results will be.
Are you guys still going through the colleges?
We aren't. The foundation does.
The foundation, yes.
Yes, the Appraisal Foundation, yes. They do that through the CAP approval program, and they are.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Other questions, members of the commission? Staff? General public? Maria, you get the last laugh here, or last, any comments or thoughts or anything that you want to leave us with, food for thought or guidance or what have you? I know you're coming up in another 10 days or thereabouts. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, I just appreciate this opportunity to be able to sit in and observe your board meeting. And I like to take the opportunity to thank board members for the work that you do. It is important work, and it's evident in what I've observed. And also to your staff for the work that they've already done, just a lot of work to prepare and send the documents over that we needed ahead of time. I know there's a lot that goes into a compliance review, and so we just really do appreciate that. And then also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I am your new program manager, and I'm here to answer any questions, point you in the right direction, and I'm available anytime.
Great, Maria. Now, unfortunately, I think I'm commencing on my 30th year this month sitting on here, which is nuts to itself. So we've had a number, I've watched a lot of folks come and go, retire and come back from
Yes.
retirement and keep going. So you are our, as you said, supervisor, program manager. If we have questions, we go to you. Is that how it's being set up now?
Yeah, so our title was policy manager. We were all hired as our official title has always been program manager, but our working title was policy manager. So I'm the state's policy manager, and I know that's changed over the years. Typically, we rotate states every 4 years. Especially 30 years, you've seen Denise, Christy, Jenny, Neil, all those, and I've worked with them as well. They've all retired with the exception of Neil, and he's retiring in January.
God, I remember we began. Oh man, I've been here
Yes.
too long. Okay. Okay.
And I think Debbie's got her hand up.
Yes, please, Debbie, go ahead.
I
Thank you.
do. This is unrelated to Maria. I have a question about the implementation of the new Connecticut appraisal law course. So it's been released to the schools that have applied to provide it to their students. The question is that I've been receiving is when is the hard stop date that the old Connecticut law can be provided? This one school, for instance, has approximately 120 appraisers who have purchased the package deal that includes the Connecticut law component. And the school is not going to be ready to make the course live until they're anticipating July 1st. So is it okay to, if these appraisers who've already purchased the package take the old course, or should they just wait until the new course is live and then at that time they'll switch out the course in the packages that have already been purchased plus going forward?
Debbie, who's the question presented to?
I think it was to us.
To the board, to the commission, yes.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't know if you were wanting to do to Maria. That's why I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Well, I think our current course is better than the old one, but I think we did a great job in the old one too. So I don't think I think if they just start offering the new one as soon as they get it, is there an issue here? I mean, I still don't understand why they're having trouble. If they have technical issues in switching it out, so be it. But if they're being reluctant to switch it out, I think that's wrong. But my opinion. Did I answer that? Is that what you're asking?
That's what I'm asking. Yes, that's what that's exactly what I'm asking. What should I tell them to do? Should I just say, the new one has been approved by our commission and it's ready to go, and I don't know why they want to, continue teaching the old one, but I didn't know if it was a matter of like when the use PAP became available, we took the use PAP, we allowed the use PAP that was in effect on the day that they took the course. So
Actually,
I didn't
this
know
brings up a great question. So, Vicky, did we actually put an effective date in for the law class?
We did not.
We did not put an effective date
did
in
not.
for the law course. We did not put an effective date.
John, and everyone, this is just going to go just like USPAP is. We are one of the few states that don't say like West Virginia. How would I know that? Because I took on the plane last night, their class. You have to take the USPAP within 8 months of when it opens up. Okay, some have 6-month criteria. I think that's the quickest one that there is. We never put a sunset on. So unfortunately, one of the shortcomings of our law, Connecticut, not the Connecticut law class, but Connecticut law is you can take the USPAP version that's out right now up until the last day, even though the new one will come out. And usually it's what, mid-November, December 1st. So it's offered 2 months before, it comes there. How many times do we get people just taking their old use PAP? They fulfill their requirement, but they're not current. I mean, it's one of those darn things that unfortunately it slips through the crack. And I think we're to be consistent. I think we're going to have to accept both of them until then the new cycle begins, and then it's all for the new one because we don't have that sunset provision in there.
That's not what I heard her ask. I agree with what you just said, that we'll accept both. That's understandable. What I heard Debbie ask is there a time where they can no longer offer the old one if they got the new one?
When the
So-
new cycle begins, just like USPAP.
So, but Jerry, as you say, when it's out, the new law is out. If
Just
they
went
took
out.
it before it was out, that's okay, but the new
Yeah.
law is out, they should be taking the new law class.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you fundamentally, Shauna. But what I'm saying is if we're going to be consistent, someone can take the old USPAP till December 31st, even though the new USPAP will be available and out in the market November 1st for round numbers. Okay, so we fall into this every 2 years. We got people taking, well, I've fulfilled my requirement because I have to take the 7-hour update, USPAP for my, my 28 hours. Yes, he or she has done that, but hell, they're not even current with it. The most USPAP out there. It's one of the,
Jerry, but
juxtapositions that we have.
what I heard Debbie just ask was what what the school is saying is if we say that, then this school does not have to offer the new class until actually February 1st
That's
of next
correct.
year. They can
That is
continue to
correct.
offer the old one all the way through until
Because we're in that cycle. We're in that cycle. We never put a sunset in anything. We don't have a sunset on our USPAP. How would we then, as Vicky has said 100 times to us, if she said it once, we got to be consistent in our application on so many things. So how would that be consistent if we now put it on that? If we did, we did, but then with a USPAP as well. Because we never put in taking, the most current version.
I have a follow-up question to that then. Um, if the appraiser, say in August or say in June takes the old Connecticut appraisal law, do we accept that? Because on our end, we voted to approve the new Connecticut appraisal law. Last month or in March, I think it was.
March,
No, in
March.
February, March it was, yeah.
March.
Where
So
do we say, Debbie, that they can't take it and it wouldn't be accepted?
we don't. So, okay. All right.
So what we're actually saying, which we didn't really vote on yet, is that our new class that we just wrote really becomes effective February 1st of 2026. They can take it now, we'll accept it. They can take the old one now and we'll accept it. But after the cycle, which begins on February 1, 2026, only the new class will be effective.
Yeah.
That's clear. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Now, I would love for us at some point in time to really strongly consider of having that window. I'll just start with USPAP, and then once you do USPAP, you can do that. Like many other states, and Maria, you can speak to it as you see around the country. There are ours that you have to take it within 6 months. Now, some, like Maine, take it to another extreme. And that is, even though the class comes out, and I'm going to say November 1st of 2025 for the next version, and you take it on December 10th. I've been burned on this one, once. I only have to be burned once. I had to go then turn around and take it again in January because their law simply says you have to take it in the even year. Even though it's the brand new course and you took it 2 weeks earlier because it was being offered in your region, they won't accept it. So therefore you had to go back and literally, I know it's contrary to common sense, but That is what occurs here. For something that comes into play here, you could avoid these type of things if we had a time frame put in forth. Like I said, West Virginia's 8 months. Other states are 6 months. Different time frames around the country. So, but we leave that open, and that's one of the we left it open years ago because we wanted to be flexible. But part of that flexibility is you got people who, all right, yeah, they just took the USPAP, but they're not current with the USPAP. They're never ever current with USPAP for where the cycles are. Legally, they're fine, but professionally, I question that. I can't, but that's a
Well, how
soapbox
about
thing.
this, Jerry? If USPAP came out in November 1st, as you
Yeah.
say, how far are they going to teach the old one? Are they going to teach it after November 1st? Are they going to teach it in December?
Well, they can take it online, Shauna, and they take
Right,
it
they
all the
teach
way
it,
right up to that
but the
cycle
school's
because
not going to teach after November 1st. They're going to give you the new one.
not necessarily. I've seen it over and over again, the older version come through. Okay, because it's just taking what for Debbie's saying, it's the packages. Sign up for your
But we're not
Connecticut
here to make
package.
money. We're here to make sure that they do what's right. I think
I hear you.
once the new one's out, I think they should take the new one.
I
I get
don't
that you have to
disagree.
accept that they took the old one,
They
but
should.
once the
Yeah.
new one's out, you have to take it. That's my opinion.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying one of the darn quirks that we have here, and it has bothered me for years and years and years on that, but you can't teach professionalism. You can't teach ethics, as we say. You either have it or you don't. You want to keep current and so forth. It is a bone in my craw. I admit it, but this is just one of those things that, under the consistency thing here. So it's Debbie, it's good that you brought this up, to be candid with you, but now it's the second one that will annoy me because I think if the new one is out, you should be taking the new one because that's being part of being a professional. Keep current. But, 80% of our time we're dealing with people who are
No.
not doing what they should be doing. Let's put it that way. I'll stop there, Bob?
Jerry,
Yes.
how many states are you licensed in, and do you have a separate admin person that deals with all that for you?
Yeah, I do take a look in the camera, and you're looking at the admin person, and then I was embarrassed to be pulled out. It said there's someone's got to be number one, and I am the most licensed person in the country.
Really?
Okay. Yep. There I
How
am.
many? How many?
All of them.
Every state?
You name it. That is
Wow.
true. 51, if you really want to call the District of Columbia. Okay, and they have their rules too. I
Wow.
am not. I get a temporary when we have to look at a hospital in Puerto Rico and Guam, and for both, I do not get licenses permanently for both of those jurisdictions. But yes, I am.
So Debbie, are they asking you this question because they don't want to switch over to the new one, or is it just because they already have these packages in place that are?
From my perspective, it's a combination of the two. They're telling me that their IT department is trying to get the new course up live on their website, but then again, they keep going back to, their 120 students who
Is
already
this
signed
one
up for it.
school, one particular
It's
school?
just this one school that has been communicating with me. Yes.
Can you just follow up next meeting? Just find out. I would prefer it if you could find out a little bit more information about what they're doing. See if they made a decision and follow up next meeting.
Okay. Yes, sure.
Because if just for anything for informational purposes, because we're going to be writing the law module again someday, and I think it might help us, resolve this going forward.
Absolutely.
you.
Would you like me to invite them to attend?
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
Just find out and just report back.
Yeah.
Thank
Debbie,
you.
can you gently encourage them to get up to speed as quickly as possible?
I have been doing that, but I will continue.
Great. Any other things before us today? Hearing none. Well, we thank you, Maria. Well, you won't. I don't think you'll see us when you come up in another week or 10 days, but welcome. And oh, excuse me. I see Scott. Scott, you're behind my computer, so you're raising your question. The floor is yours. I didn't see you there because boy, do I have a question for you with the appraisal.
Oh
Institute,
boy,
but go
I
ahead.
got myself into it, huh?
Yes, you did.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. For the record, Scott DiBiasio with the Appraisal Institute, and Commissioner Moore kind of stole a little bit of my thunder because I was going to recognize you. I'm sure you've seen the same research that we've seen, and you are one of only about 4 people that's licensed in the country that's licensed in all 50 jurisdictions. So you have my condolences on that accomplishment.
Thanks.
But I did want to respond to Commissioner Hawkins' question in regards to Perea. And this is specifically in regards to the AI Perea program. And I wanted to let you know that we've had 28 graduates from the program, and 17 of those folks have taken the National Uniform Licensing exam. And all 17 of those folks have passed on the first attempt. So I think that's somewhat remarkable and something that's not true of the traditional supervisor trainee path. We have another 147 folks that are working through the program right now. And I'll touch on in a minute why we've only had 28 folks graduate so far, but there's 147 working through the program right now. And we have another 101 that have passed our readiness exam. And those folks are eligible to register at this point. And then lastly, I know there's a lot of numbers here, but there's another 196 folks that are waiting to take the readiness exam. We have 6.5 mentors now on staff. That's up from 4 when we initially released the program. And the reason why we only have 28 folks having graduated from the program so far is that it is taking them significantly longer than we anticipated for them to get through the program. And there's a couple of reasons for that. The first is that many folks, not all, but many, are coming to us not having the grasped the concepts and methodologies and techniques that they should have been taught in their qualifying education. They're coming to us woefully unprepared to be able to go through the program. So our mentors are having to spend significantly more time with each participant, basically re-educating them on what they should have learned during their qualifying education. So that's slowing their pace of progress through the program. We've taken some steps to try to remedy that problem. I mentioned the readiness exam, and every participant now has to take that exam, which tests them on what they should have learned in qualifying education, and they have to score 80% or above on that test. Now, if someone does not score 80%, that does not immediately disqualify them from entering into Perea. We just send them back to review their qualifying education and then give them another opportunity to take the readiness exam. I'll leave it to your own devices to analyze why folks are coming to us unprepared. But I can tell you that the folks that are having the most difficulty come from one online education provider. Those folks are woefully unprepared. The qualifying education that they've received is simply not sufficient. And like I said, our mentors are having to basically re-educate them from scratch. We also have another 2,888 people that have expressed an interest in Perea. I'm not saying that all 2,800 of those folks are going to be converted into participants. They may have opened the checklist that we have that they have to go through before they can even take the readiness exam. And obviously, some of those people may have just clicked on that just for their own edification, or wanted to learn more about the program, or went into the checklist and discovered that the program isn't for them. I can tell you that for the most part, the program is, with the exception of the need to re-educate, the program is functioning as it was designed, and we're very confident that folks are coming out adequately prepared to enter into the profession. You may be wondering why only 17 have taken the National Uniform Licensing exam. Some of the folks are anticipating continuing into certified residential PREA, which we don't yet have available in the marketplace. That will be coming very soon. But some of those folks that have completed the LR PREA are intending on moving into CR as soon as it's available. So anyway, I just wanted to respond quickly to Commissioner Hawkins' question regarding PREA. Be happy. AI, for better or worse, continues to be the only provider in the marketplace. Although I hear that there are other providers that are getting pretty close to having programs that could be approved by the AQB and then ultimately deployed in the marketplace. So just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on where we stand with PREA, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Scott? Scott, we always appreciate your participation. You know, you give us a good level set on where things are at here. My question was really, I didn't mean to set it up so terribly, but I did. Have things worked themselves out with the education department? You had mentioned, not last meeting, but the meeting before, there was some changeover going on internally. And the reason I bring this up, when I look at classes being offered, I'm seeing approved by some states, now approved by others. I went through all our backlog of applications and never saw a certain class, you know, even being put forth in Connecticut to be, you know, considered. So I was like wondering what is going on here. So has that been worked out?
Yes, we're definitely making progress there. It was a pretty dire situation. We now have almost an entirely new staff in our education department. Our new education director is Maureen Mahoney. We have a new compliance manager, somebody that you may be familiar with. She actually used to work for the foundation, Maggie Vasquez. She's responsible for all of our state approvals of both qualifying and continuing education. We're definitely making good progress there. Still a long way to go, but progress is being made. And while I'm at it, I want to say you probably have seen some reports in the media regarding a legal matter against the Appraisal Institute. All I would say is please keep an open mind. Wait for all the facts to come out before you draw any conclusions.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions? A good meeting. We covered a lot of different things, covered, you know, in depth on certain things, and which is all good. And Maria, this is a fair representation, what you see with us, okay? You're more than, you know, any other time you want to really get up and check your coffee, you know, on the, you know, second Wednesday of the month, you know, you're more welcome to join us, okay, at any time. But thank you for coming. We do appreciate it. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Norris, okay?
A second.
Okay, Maria is second. I thought no one's going to mention it because they wanted the meeting to keep going on. Ayes?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Thank you very much. Have a good week, everyone, and
Thank you,
a
Maria.
good month. Take
Thank you,
care.
Maria. We look forward
Thank you,
to
Maria.
everyone. Have a great one.
speaking
Take care.
soon. Mhm.
Thank
Bye.
you.